guys, for today's first impression I'm trying out a foundation that's been a cult favourite all over YouTube for the last couple of years, and I'm only just trying this out for the first time now, and this is the Revlon Colorstay Foundation in combination to oily skin, and the shade that I have is 240 medium beige, and I do have 18 different shades, and also it retails for £12.99. So ever since I first started watching YouTube I've seen loads of people use this, especially people that have oily skin. They swear by this and say that it's a dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which I absolutely love. So hopefully this is going to be as good as Estee Lauder Double Wear, or almost as good as being as it is a drugstore foundation. You get 1 fluid ounce or 30ml in this foundation, which is the average for a drugstore foundation, and on the back it says it wears for up to 24 hours. You get a flawless look, lightweight feel, and it has SPF 15 in it, so it's good if you want a little bit extra protection. And on the website it says flawless matte finish for up to 24 hours, 22 beautiful long wearing shades, buildable to full coverage, contains salicylic acid to balance skin over time, oil free and SPF 15. So hopefully this is going to be really good, and I've seen loads of people that have been comparing this to the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. Now that is my holy grail foundation. I absolutely love that one. It lasts me all day and I don't need to touch up at all. So hopefully this is going to be exactly the same as being as it says it's going to wear for up to 24 hours. It's meant to be really hot outside today, and also it is the middle of summer and I was sweating at the moment just with these lights on me, so hopefully this is going to hold up throughout the sweat and also the humidity, and we're just going to see how it goes. So if you don't know what my skin type is, it's oily to combination. I have super oily patches on my skin and the rest of my skin is normal. So I am oily on my forehead, also down my nose, down the sides of my nose, and on my chin as well. That is where I'm super oily, and the rest of my skin is normal. Also, as you can see, I have a lot of redness. I also have blemishes as well, and I have acne prone skin. So hopefully with this containing salicylic acid, it's going to help out with my blemishes as well. To see if this foundation lasts any longer or goes on the skin any better, I'm going to prime this side of my skin using my Makeup Forever mattifying primer. This is the one that I always use with foundations, and we're just going to see if it looks any different during the day with me wearing this primer. So I'm pretty much just going to put this all over my face, because as it is really hot today, I am going to get very oily and sweaty pretty much everywhere. And my chin is pretty much the worst for getting oily. The first thing that I noticed about this foundation when I took the lid off is that it looks very different to a couple of years ago. So it looks a little bit different on the packaging, and also it has a pump. And I know that a couple of years ago when I first brought this out, a lot of people were moaning because it didn't have a pump and it pretty much just went everywhere. So this is a great addition that they've just had to the foundation, which I love. To apply this foundation I'm using a makeup sponge, and this is the same one that I use for all my foundations, and I'm just going to do one pump just to see what it looks like. So you don't get a lot of foundation that comes out, which is pretty good because then you can't go overboard with the foundation. It looks like it's running a little bit, and I'm just going to put on another pump just to see what it looks like. So that is what it looks like. It has sort of a thin consistency, but not too thin to the point where it's running everywhere. So I'm just going to apply this to half of my face. I'm going to see if it covers up all of my blemishes, my redness as well, and just see how it looks after one application. So the colour match already looks like it's going to match me pretty well, and I'm just buffing this out to see if it's going to cover everything. Already I can tell that this foundation has covered up pretty much all of my redness, which I think is incredible. This is literally just one layer of this foundation, and already I'm starting to like it. This is what the foundation looks like on one side, and I have got a little bit of foundation right here, which is not the best, but already I can see that it looks pretty much exactly the same as the Double Wear foundation on the skin. It has the same amount of coverage, the texture looks pretty much exactly the same, and it just really already looks like a dupe, which is absolutely crazy because I'm not even testing this out to see if it's a dupe. And the colour match is pretty good. I'm not sure if it's going to oxidise during the day, but as you can see it's a little bit pale for my neck, but I don't know if it's because it has SPF in it and it's exactly the same as my other SPF foundations where it looks a little bit lighter on camera. But so far I'm really happy with this foundation, and the coverage is really good. It's a medium coverage, it's covered up my redness, it's covered up my blemishes, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of my face and show you what it looks like afterwards. This is what one layer of the foundation looks like, and already I can tell that I am impressed with it. It does really remind me of the Estee Lauder Double Wear. It just looks a little bit more cakey than that. but it looks like it's covered up all of my redness, and my blemishes are really minimised as well, so it looks like it's done pretty good on there. And the texture looks okay. Now it is starting to cake up a little bit. I think it's because it's a little bit hot here, so I think it's starting to separate, but I do like it at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. So I've just finished off the rest of my makeup, and I'm not too sure how I feel about this foundation. Some parts of my skin look really nice and flawless, and other parts look cakey like around here. Also, my highlighter didn't go on as well as it normally does with other foundations, and I feel like it's one of those where you have to work very quickly and do it section by section, because it does dry very quickly, and even if you leave it for about 30 seconds to a minute, it does start to dry in, and it's really hard to build up. You can't build up this foundation at all, and I'm just going to see how it goes throughout the rest of the day. I'm not sure if it's going to hold up with the sweat and the heat, because at the moment it already looks like it's separating and it's going to come off, so I'm not too sure how it's going to go. So I'm going to go to work, and when I come back I'm going to give you an update and let you know how I feel about this foundation. It's 10:20 in the morning, and I'll be back in a few hours. Bye! Hi guys, so I'm back, and it's now 7:10 in the evening, so I've had this foundation on for 9 hours now, and I feel like now is my best time to give you my final first impression review. I didn't manage to do another update today because I've only just come back from work, and I feel like having it on for 9 hours is probably the best way, because then I can tell you if it's going to last the whole day when you're at work, and also if it's going to last a long time as well. So looking at my face at the moment, it looks very similar to when I first put it on. The only difference is it has sunk into my pores, my nose, and also it's come off a little bit on my chin, my forehead, and also on my nose as well. As you can see, it's done really well for 9 hours. Usually when I have a foundation on, at the 5-hour mark it comes off on my cheeks and blotches, and this one hasn't done that. It's only really come off on my nose and also other places where I have pores as well, and also on my chin. My redness isn't really peeking through other than on my chin, and my blemishes are really covered up still, which I really do love. And as being as this has been on for a very long time, I have to tell you I do really like it. I think next time that I'm going to use it, I am going to use a pore filler, because my pores are just huge with this foundation, and also when you do use it you do have to work very quickly with it, because it does dry very quickly and it can start to look cakey if you try to build up the layers. Other than that, the coverage is really good as well, and I just think that it looks really good on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the pros and the cons of this foundation. So the first pro that I have is that it's super affordable. It's only $12.99. It is quite expensive for a drugstore foundation, but when you think that it lasts a long time on the skin, it's a great price for this foundation, and I would compare it to a lot of my higher end foundations. And a lot of the time Revlon is buy one get one half price in the stores anyway, so make sure that you keep an eye out for all of those offers. It also feels pretty lightweight on the skin as well. I don't really feel like I'm wearing anything. I can compare it to my lighter foundations like my L'Oreal Nude Magique foundation. That doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything on the skin, and this literally feels pretty much exactly the same. I feel like my skin can breathe while I'm wearing it. Another thing that I love about this foundation is the shade selection is incredible. They have 22 different shades. They have very pale shades, very dark shades, and everything in between. So I feel like every single person, if you want to try out this foundation, you're going to be able to find a shade that matches you. I also feel like this foundation is going to last a very long time. For 9 hours of wear, it's done really well, and it's only really come off on patches where I've been sweating today because it has been really hot. Do I feel like it's going to last 24 hours? No, I don't, but I do feel like it's going to last a pretty long time. It's been put through its paces today because, like I said, it has been really hot and it's done really well on that. And another pro that I have is that the coverage of this is really good. It is a medium to full coverage foundation, and when I put one layer on, it covered up all of my imperfections, all of my redness as well. I only had a tiny bit of redness around here that didn't get covered up, but it's really incredible. For one layer, it does really well. Now, a con that I do have with this foundation is the fact that it isn't a buildable foundation. You have to work very quickly with this because it does dry very quickly and it can start to look cakey like it did on my chin. Another con that I have is that this foundation sinks into pores, but this foundation, my pores look huge. On my nose and also my forehead, my pores are really visible, and it accentuates them quite a lot. Not just a little bit, but quite a lot. So that's one thing that I don't like. But when I do use this foundation again, I will be using a pore filling primer just so I can make sure that it doesn't sink into them as much as they are today, because I've been looking in the mirror and it doesn't look very good at all. And the last con that I have about this foundation is that it can start to look cakey on the skin. Now, if you do try to build this up, it will look cakey. Also, if you are really hot and you are starting to sweat, it will go cakey on that area. When I was putting this foundation on, I was really hot and I was starting to sweat sweat around here, also on my forehead and on my chin and on my top lip, and it just did not look very good, and it just caked on those areas. So when you do put this foundation on, make sure that you're in a cool place. So overall, I'm definitely impressed with this foundation, and I would definitely recommend it, and I give it a very big thumbs up. It's super affordable. I'm not sure if it is a dupe for the Estee Lauder Double Wear. There are things that are the same and things that aren't the same, and I just think that the coverage of this is really good and the longevity of it is good as well. So if you do have combination to oily skin, I definitely recommend that you pick this up and try this out. Also, if you do like the coverage of this foundation and how it's worn, try out the other Revlon Colorstay Foundation for normal to dry skin. So I will be trying out this foundation a lot more because I do really like it. I love the coverage of it, and I think it lasts a very good time during the day for work as well, so I'm probably going to end up using it for work. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it really informative. If you've tried this and you like it, or if you don't, just comment down below to let me know, and make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!